Hey everybody, Kennis Russell here. I hope you're doing well. I am doing awesome. Today I've got a video for you, 5 reasons why the Fender Stratocaster is better than the Gibson Les Paul. Now I've already made a video about 5 reasons why the Les Paul is better than the Strat, so I'm making this video to say why the Strat's better than the Les Paul. So this isn't necessarily a video saying this one is better than this guitar or vice versa. It's just some features that the Strat has that I think are better than the Les Paul. Feature number 1, I think that the Stratocaster is more of a versatile guitar than the Les Paul for a couple of reasons. The first is it's got more pickups, more different types of tones you can get into. Also, it's got a 5-way switch, so you have more combinations of tones possible. So if you just look at it from just very simply, you have a 5-way switch compared to a 3-way switch, you're gonna get right off the bat more tones. It doesn't necessarily mean they're the same tones or they're better tones, but you have more versatility than with the Stratocaster. There's the tremolo system with the Stratocaster. So whereas it's got the bridge here is just kind of, there's nothing you can do as far as whammies or anything like that on this. You're not gonna be doing any bends. You can put a Bigsby bridge on here or something if you want, but most Stratocasters come with a tremolo system already installed, which is great. You know, a lot of players like me, I don't really use the tremolo for tremolo. I kind of block it or make it where it's not moving that much. And then I just kind of use it like I would for a Les Paul. But it's nice to know that I have that option if I ever want to, that I can put a whammy bar on there. Also, Stratocasters have more variety in types of pickups that go in it. A lot of Strats you'll see, there are 2 single coils and 1 humbucker pickup in the bridge. Some of them you'll see a humbucker here in the neck, a single coil in the middle, and a humbucker in the bridge. So there's a more variety as far as models are concerned with Stratocasters than there is with Les Pauls. So I think that for those reasons, the Strat is a little bit more versatile than the Les Paul. The second reason is Stratocasters are more comfortable to play than Les Pauls. The Strat is way less than the Les Paul. I own a vintage Les Paul and it was super heavy. I played it for years and years, and that was my only electric guitar. And so I wasn't even really aware of how much weight was on my shoulder that whole time playing it. I got a Strat and I love the difference in the weight. I'm a big guy, but I still like having the less weight. Now, recently, Les Pauls have been coming with an option where it's chambered, where they kind of drill out a little bit of the center of the guitar and to lessen the weight a little bit. But I still think even a chambered guitar weighs more than a typical Stratocaster. So the weight right there is huge. Stratocasters come with a belly cut. They've ergonomically shaped the guitar to play better, to kind of sit in your arms a little bit better than the Les Paul. It's got this arm right here. It's got the belly cut on the back, even though I need like a huge belly cut on my guitar. But anyway, I think it's just a little bit more comfortable to play than a Les Paul. The third reason I think that the Strat is better than the Les Paul, and this is a huge one, is it's easier to customize a Stratocaster than it is a Les Paul. Now I've customized both before, but the reasons why it's easier to customize a Strat is you have a lot more options for Strats than you do, number 1, than Les Pauls. For instance, if I wanted to swap these out, put humbuckers in here, I could. You know, I'm not gonna be able to put a single coil pickup here on a Les Paul. So just right there, there's more stuff you can do. Also, because of this pick guard, I can add a ton of stuff. As you see here, I've done underneath here a ton of things to this. These are Graphtec saddles with a 13-pin pickup, and these tone knobs are different than typically you'd have. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into all the details of it, but as you can see, I've got 3 extra switches here that do different things. To do that on a Les Paul would be a lot more difficult. I would have to figure out a way to route those switches, and I'd have to drill into the guitar. And if this is an expensive Les Paul, I'm not gonna do that because I don't wanna devalue the guitar by modding it. Whereas a Stratocaster, it's a pick guard, it's a piece of plastic. I can drill as many holes as I want in this. If I mess up, oh well, I'll get another pick guard, not a big deal. So I think it's a little bit easier to modify Stratocasters than it is to modify a Les Paul. Also, even if you're just getting into it with the basics, you can buy loaded pick guards that already have the pickups installed on the pick guard All you have to do is unscrew it, desolder a couple wires, put it on there, solder them back up, and you've already upgraded your guitar. It's a little bit more difficult with Les Paul. It's still not too hard, but just a little bit easier to customize the Stratocaster. Plus, like I said before, you can put a block on the tremolo, so you have more options on that, as well as something as basic, a lot of people don't think about this, but replacing the neck. Because it's a bolt-on neck, you could swap out the neck. If you say, I like this guitar, but I want to put a maple neck on it and it's got a rosewood neck, you can do that. If you have a cheaper guitar like a Squire, you can say, I'm going to upgrade the neck on this, spend $100 getting a Mighty Mite neck, slap it on there, and you've got a better guitar because of it. The fourth reason Stratocasters are better than Gibson Les Pauls is because of the headstock. Now, for a couple of reasons, the headstock is better. The first is it's more durable. If you drop this guitar and it comes and it lands flat, it's going to break like 99.9% less amount of times as the Gibson Les Paul is. The way that the headstock is angled backwards, it's going to hit the ground and break. If you just Google broken headstocks, you're gonna see just in the image of Google search, like 1 million Les Paul style guitars and Gibson style guitars, but you're not gonna see a whole lot of Fender style guitars. Just all has to do with the way that it's designed. They're stronger, it's more durable than the Gibson Les Paul is. Also, the headstock design makes it this harder to tune because of the strings, the way that they angle. Typically, Les Pauls are harder to keep in tune than Stratocasters. If Stratocasters are having trouble staying in tune, it's usually having to do with the tremolo system, not with the headstock. So the headstock is better on the Fender Stratocaster than it is the Gibson Les Paul. And finally, and the fifth reason, and this may not be a reason for you, but it is for me, Strats are cheaper than Les Pauls. Even if you're talking about entry-level, bottom-of-the-line type of things, this Stratocaster is going to be cheaper. You're going to find a Stratocaster cheaper than you will a Les Paul. If you go to the top, the high-end stuff, you say, hey, I'm going to get a custom guitar made by Gibson. I'm going to get a custom guitar made by Fender. You're going to spend more on the Gibson than you are the Fender. You're talking about vintage stuff, unless it's like a guitar that Jimi Hendrix played or something like that. If you just talk about, hey, I'm going to get a guitar from the 50s that's a Gibson Les Paul, or I'm going to get a guitar from the 50s that's a Stratocaster, you're going to pay more for the Gibson than you are the Strat. I mean, that might be a couple $100,000 difference, but Les Pauls are more expensive than Strats are. So that's 5 reasons why Fender Stratocasters, or Stratocasters in general, are better than Gibson Les Pauls or Les Pauls in general. Anyway, if you like this video, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. And if this is the first time of you watching one of my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in another video.